Hi, welcome everybody. We've got 7 people currently online, but we had about 40 registered for the session. So we're going to give people a few more minutes before we officially kick off and start. If you want to just pop a comment in the chat box and introduce yourselves and let us know who you've got there, just typing in on the right-hand side there. So all participants as they join are placed on silent when you join the session, but utilise that chat box on the right to ask questions as we travel through the presentation today. And Lisa from Porta and Mick from the Centre for Sustainable Architecture with Wood will answer your questions as we go along. If you want to enter full screen mode, you can use the arrows above the presentation slides up in the top sort of right above the slides to kind of maximise or minimise your screen. So you can either see the presentation on full or you can keep watching the presenters as they speak. And I will just make a note that the presentation is best viewed on a laptop or desktop. So sometimes issues can occur if you're trying to view from a phone. So I'll just give you that bit of info up front. If you're unable to enter the demo event room, it's most likely because the browser permissions that you're using haven't been set. And we have found in the past that Google Chrome is the best way to view the presentation. So I might go ahead and start introducing the presenters today while we're waiting for a few more people to come online. So we have Lisa from Porta. Lisa is a well-respected building products executive, having spent the majority of her career thus far working with Australia's most influential developers, builders, architects and designers. With a career spanning over 25 years, Lisa has worked closely with industry colleagues across a myriad of market segments, successfully delivering projects such as Lighthouse Tower, Prima Pearl, Penleigh and Essendon Grammar, the Royal Children's Hospital and the VCCC. With a highly developed understanding of how the built environment influences our behaviour, Lisa has a passion for product development and providing fit-for-purpose solutions in the demanding commercial construction space. Lisa manages a team of commercial specification and industrial specialists with a focus on designing and delivering Australian-made products from certified and sustainable timbers. So alongside Lisa today is Michael Lee, who, if you've attended one of our webinars before, you will be well versed in Michael's capabilities in timber and the breadth of his knowledge. Michael is the Senior Technical Officer for the Centre for Sustainable Architecture with Wood at the University of Tasmania. If you have ever contacted Tasmanian Timber through our expert helpline or sent an inquiry through, it's most likely Tim who was on the other end of the line. So Michael operates our quality assurance program for the Tasmanian Timber campaign, as well as answering the expert timber helpline, which is a national service. The Centre for Sustainable Architecture with Wood, if you're not familiar with them, their role is to maximise the use of timber in the built environment, and they work closely with the suppliers of Tasmanian timber to ensure we get the best products and processes happening within our industry. And Michael has been heavily involved with the timber industry now for around 35 years, with a strong history in both academia and on the technical side. And he's got a lot of involvement in research through the National Institute of Forest Products Innovation. So I think at 5 past, we might hand over now to Mick to get underway. And James, I'm going to see if I can help you troubleshoot getting connected whilst Mick commences the presentation. Over to you, Mick.
Yeah, thanks for that, Claire. I'd just like to say and just like to reiterate, if you've got any questions on mouldings or moulded products or specification from Porters, please pop them up in the chat line. Lisa is here. She is supremely competent at doing these things, and she'll have some answers for you. And if we can't get back to you straight away, we'll take it on advisement, and we have everyone that's registered, and we'll get back to answer any of these questions we can't just answer on the spot. So, yep, please populate that chat bar. All right, we'll just we're going. Just some of the things we're going to talk about today. You know, the provenance of the resource, the Tasmanian species, product supply, the quality assurance program, which is very important for both Porters and the rest of the Tasmanian industry, some design considerations, applications and our expert support line, quotes and suppliers. We won't be going heavily into how to use a piece of moulding and that, although we will point you in the direction of some of the brilliant how-tos on the Porter's YouTube site. And again, for commercial applications, Lisa's available to answer any of these questions. Okay, we've got 3 types of forest in Tasmania, and apologies to anyone that's seen these three beautiful slides before, but we've got the regenerated forest run by Sustainable Timbers Tasmania, which, you know, in the last 30 years has dropped from 1 million cubes down to a very sustainable 127,000, which has made Tasmanian timber into a very bespoke item and very sought after. It's one of the last true blonde utes left. So, you know, that's something to take into account, and especially when you see some of the beautiful design shots that Porter have supplied us. We've got hydro wood, Lake Rosebery and down in the Pieman. This material has been sourced from the bottom of the lake that was flooded for a hydro, and it's just some magnificent material, especially the myrtles that have come out of this lake are quite stunning. And plantation, we can't discount plantation. The whole of the Tasmanian industry are looking at nitens in both thinned and pruned and fibre managed stock to turn what's essentially wheelbarrow loads of wood chips into the built environment. And we're all very excited to actually be able to get this into our product suites. And I'm sure Porters, amongst everyone else, will be looking at this moulded products down the track. Tasmanian species in general was John Goulder, who was our timber ambassador, who's now a snowheader and, you know, a very influential designer. And one of the things that he loved about the Tasmanian timber is the colour palette and the fact that it's sustainably sourced and very stable material. You know, John's a real champion of using especially Tas Oak, and as you can see, you know, he's worked with Lloyd & Spencer and a whole heap of different major producers, and now gone off into the international field, which will hopefully bring Australia timbers to the fore. Okay, Tasmanian Oak, beautiful. This is what we're here for, Tasmanian timber. And as you can see, mouldings aren't just mouldings. We've got ceilings, we've got wall linings, we've got structural dowels made into furniture. It's just, you know, it's just a beautiful aesthetic, a beautiful feel, the biophilic look of that against those white tiles. It's just magnificent. Biophilic beauty at its best, practical and resilient, and it really is. The one key thing about Tas Oak is it does exactly what we think it's going to do. The design specs on it make it a very, very practically easy to use material, because if you design with it, you use the specs. As you can see with that connection, the connect with me on LinkedIn, that's a Nitens panel. That was made out of wood chip material. It's beautiful. I've left this slide in, and it's a slide we've used before, but it just shows the breadth of Tas Oak and what we can do in both moulded products, dressed boards, rough sawn. You can see some of the slatting on the right-hand side of your screen is moulded, semi-moulded products, through to the mouldings on the windows and that. It's just a totally beautiful feel. And Porters and most of the other Tasmanian companies can supply all this product, and it takes a finish beautifully. But I think this shot just highlights the natural tones and the blonde timber. Again, dowels, one of the most underrated products put out into the market. As you can see it in furniture, we see it in architectural shelving. It's just got so many uses. And I'm sure if you're looking at larger jobs, you know, we see it in ceilings and you'll see it in a lot of other feature work. But as a practical application, dowels have so many uses, and Porters have been a major supplier out of Tasmania for the last 4 or 5 decades. It really is staple work for them. So again, you know, some of these inspirational shots hopefully will help you going forward. Again, commercial things, I'll just reiterate this once more. Please do talk to Lisa about this, because they're really heavily focusing on helping getting this material into the built environment in large scales. Yeah, what can I say? A combination of line material and veneers. And again, while we're talking about moulded products, there is a full suite of Tas Oak available to the marketplace, from pure veneers through to of all thicknesses, through to line products and boards. Wall mouldings, one of the beauties that Porta have brought to the marketplace in the last 2 or 3 years, and it is. It's vision, design and beauty. And, you know, we've got sustainable, we've got aesthetic, we've got biophilic, but we've also got practical and adaptable. And that's the other thing. These materials can be used for a great range of features. As you can see, just simply as a wall highlight, they're stunning. There's so many opportunities for these wall finishes, from the contemporary to the classic. The next shot's probably, you know, something we would see in a lot of the older buildings in Tasmania, but framed walls with these mouldings and all available are just beautiful. They take a stain, their machinability levels are high, finish is easy, and they come virtually ready to mount sand. I don't know how this is translating across the screen, but this is a beautiful, stunning, you know, Tas Oak against the black background. It's just so appealing. And this is, I was just talking to Lisa about this before, this is probably my favourite shot of using a moulding in such a subtle way to highlight a wall. And I don't know if you can notice also the round the boxing and things that I've done with other styles of mouldings, all available. And we'll talk about the styles of moulds and that in the next couple of shots. We don't only have Tas Oak, we have Blackwood. Blackwood slatting, and that's often used as an architectural feature and available from most of the manufacturers in Tasmania. We've got reasonable supplies of Blackwood in all sizes and moulds, and also for these types of strips and slats. As you can see, Blackwood, bench tops, desks, chairs, small mouldings, shelves. Yeah, it's just a beautiful material. Myrtle. This floor is actually, as I was saying before, this has come from the hydro wood resource out of the lake. As you can see, the beautiful natural linings on this shiplap mould on the wall through to the moulded flooring product. It's just stunning. Some of the colour palettes out of this is just unbelievable. And again, as artefacts, rails, stairs, all reclaimed timber, all fully certified and available, definitely available. We do have celery-top pine available out of Tasmania from some of the suppliers. It's not as available, obviously, as Tasmanian Oak or Myrtle or Blackwood, but still available and still a stunning product. if anyone's seen the seed, James Fitzpatrick's seed house and the use of celery mouldings and flooring in that, it's just a beautiful look. Also, it's durable. It's ultimately durable, and this slatting's on a new build in Launceston in Tasmania, and all this material's available from both terrestrial and from the hydro wood resource. So I suppose, you know, it's buy Australian, buy local, buy sustainable, and buy certified. And just on that, I'll just pop up a small video from Andrew Morgan from SFM, who's one of our leading foresters and resource managers here, talking about certification.
So I'm Andrew Morgan. I'm the Managing Director of SFM Environmental Solutions, and SFM is a forest management company who holds dual certification in PEFC and FSC. There's two broad international types of certification operating in Australia, PEFC and FSC. Now under PEFC we have another layer which is the Australian standard, which is called responsible wood. So in effect we have responsible wood and FSC available in the Australian market. Certification is a voluntary market-driven process that's got two components. So it's got forest management certification and chain of custody certification. Forest management is the piece that shows that the forest itself has been managed sustainably and it considers social, economic and environmental aspects, whilst the chain of custody certification is the part which follows that tree into a board and into a finished product and ensures the consumer knows that they are receiving a product that has come from the forest management certified forest. As part of the chain of custody, you should be able to look at that piece of furniture or timber product and see a logo. So you would see an FSC logo or a responsible wood logo, and that logo also has the identification number on it, which you can then go to the relevant website and then track that back so you can actually see where that timber's come from. One of the main things around certification is continual improvement. So one destination or country or forest may find it easier to get certification if they've got a lower level of regulations, whereas in somewhere like Australia we have a very high level of regulation, a very high level of environmental management, therefore the bar is set very high. And so I think architects and consumers and specifiers and builders can with confidence use Tasmanian timbers knowing that they're certified under a global standard and locally being managed under a very rigorous forest practices system. If people are wanting to make the best choice in sustainability, they really need to look firstly for certification. So regardless of the type of certification, buy certified. And secondarily, I think buy local, because you're not transporting and bringing imported timber in from across the world and it's got a lower carbon footprint. I think our forest management systems are world class. Our forest practices system is held up there with high regard.
You'll need to pop the presentation back up, Claire.
Right, there we go. Done.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, so as Andrew said, you know, apples aren't necessarily apples. Our forest accreditation is, you know, one of the leading in the world. And between the two standards there, both of them are very high. PEFC is out of, you know, the responsible wood out of Tasmania is held to the highest accountable standards, and they're both certified, and that's the real thing is buy certified, buy local. Okay, one of the other things we have, and while the Porta's product's not really sold under these two prime and classic things, they still have the same ethos where we have a higher feature, and this is from the other contributors in Tasmania. We have a higher feature and a what I would call a contemporary and a classic look. So the prime is a higher feature, more biophilic look. Whereas you can see, if you look at the floor on this second slide, we're really looking at a more traditional looking floor. And this is the same. So I think the terminology, Lisa, is standard and better and select that we'd be using for those. So if you're after something with a bit of feature in it, especially in wall linings, the standard and better. If you're after something that's, you know, more of this pure colouring and the consistency. The one thing I will say is that the same level of rigour, auditing and care goes into both products. They're exactly the same product. The only difference is the characterisation of the features. And I think that's important. Yes, Lisa.
Experienced graders on our factory floor who not only inspect the product once it's come in from Tasmania, but they also have quality assurance processes once the product has finished its manufacturing process. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and on top of that, we do quarterly audits. With Porta's, for instance, during this COVID period, we've actually gone out and audited the stock that they've put out into the retail stores, because we haven't had a chance to get into the Victorian workplace. But yeah, it's still everything that's going out getting well viewed, well audited, and you can guarantee a level of quality. This is a self-regulation thing amongst contributors to the marketing campaign. So it's sits on top of what the individual companies do. So available products, moulded products. There is such a plethora, and especially some of these designs, which I must admit, I've seen some of these back as far as 1965. And no, I'm not quite that old, but I'm feeling that way. So there's a beautiful range of retro feel and looking materials coming into the market. I know Lisa has all of these at her fingertips and can send you out quotes and samples and bits and pieces. So if you're after some of these, Porta really are the people to see on these linings. Most of the companies do a range of linings, and there are other players in the market, but Porters have really grabbed this retro feel, as I'd call it. Yeah.
We have 4 new moulding designs being launched imminently. So we're very excited about it.
Yeah. Look, the range is large now, and you know, it's expanded back into the marketplace to where it was when timber was a real feel, and it's great to see that this is still growing. Okay, on the Porter's site, you'll find anything you want to know about these moulds and the types of moulds, tees and fillets and quads and everything. They're all listed, available links, dimensions. There's multiple resource on the website. And this goes for most of the Tasmanian producers, and I'm sure we'll have it up on some of these links will come up on the Tas Timber site in the future. And a lot of this product is in some of our inspiration packages, so you can see the product in a great range of uses. But for me, from a built environment perspective, these are great. I can see what I can get. I'm not guessing at it. And we're also doing a booklet that will be out shortly to architects and specifiers, talking about the use of Tasmanian timber in the built environment. So if you're a registered architect, you're likely to receive one of these desktop books. So yeah, keep an eye out for that as well. Moulded grades and features, and again, I've put that little slide in because dowels, again, used as furniture, they really are a structural element that has got so many uses. A lot of the things we look at are things like colour, grain, character, and combinations of the above, and you could see that in some of the inspiration shots where we've got Tas Oak against a black wall, and it just looks stunning. Some of the things we have out of the Tasmanian timbers gum vein, black speck, gum clusters, hobnails, black heart in some of the minor species, which are available in small runs of lining and veneers. And a question we're often asked is, are Tasmanian timbers readily available? Well, there's a cut of 127,000 from STT. There's other sources. So yeah, look, while we sort of call it bespoke, there is still quite a good supply. It's, you know, products of exceptional beauty from a place like nowhere else is very true. And the fact that the island's growing and it's sustainable, the regenerated forests, the reclaimed stuff out of the lake, and our ever-growing plantations, both in fibre managed and saw log managed, are coming on stream as we speak. And that's very exciting, I know, to most of the producers, that we've actually got night and saw logs, as opposed to trying to process fibre managed material, which we still are, and we've got a lot of projects around that. But we've actually got saw log material emanating onto the market in this plantation style. So as Claire's popped up there, suppliers of Tasmanian timber, and yep, all of these things are on our website. Please pop on and have a look at the website and anything you want. But again, if we're looking for mouldings in a commercial atmosphere, please get in contact with Lisa. Quality assured, and a shameless bit of self-promotion there from me standing there. We go around quarterly. It really is, it's been embraced by all the producers. We randomly pick out the material, and yeah, it is a true independent audit done by the University of Tasmania Centre for Sustainable Architecture with wood. We go around. The biggest thing is that any queries, questions or that, we first address with the companies, but then it's brought up with the whole marketing thing. So it's a very self-regulated, very open, and happily to this point, the couple of minor issues we've had have been in-house, and there've been more queries than actual non-compliances, but any non-compliances are dealt with on the spot, and it's keeping everyone, I hate to say this, but it's keeping everyone very honest in this process. And as I say, with the Porta product, we're going into the local stores and that and picking it off the shelf, measuring it, doing moisture contents, density, making sure that it actually meets the criteria that they've put it out within the grades. And very happy with all the products out of Tassie at this point. Again, product supply and quality. We've got specialists. We've got specialist timber suppliers out of Tasmania. We've got 4 or 5 major suppliers, but Porters sit in their own sort of niche market where they are a timber producer, but they're also a supplier of these moulded products, and it really is their strength. And when I'm talking about moulded products, it's not just mouldings, dowels, it's handrails, it's wall linings, it's innovation, and the ability to get in contact with someone like Lisa to actually do it in a commercial sphere is great. Other companies have commercial managers as well. And so, you know, we can put you in contact. If you send in inquiries, which we'll talk about later, to our inquiry line, we'll put them out to the best possible people to actually get back to you with the answers. And it won't just go to a single supplier if there's multiples available. Forest and chain of custody certification, we heard from Andrew Morgan before. Again, all of the timber coming out of Tasmania is certified. Please buy local, buy certified, and realise that the Australian certification, and especially the Tasmanian certification under the RFA, is the highest in Australia and one of the highest in the world. Okay, design considerations, performance and materials. Look, a stunning use of some sawn and moulded products. You know, the things to be cognizant of are strength, indentation resistance, fire resistance and durability. Tasmanian oak is of a suitable strength for most commercial applications. We see a lot of floors now going in Tasmanian oak over the last 10 years. I have you know, we do a lot of flooring. We look at a lot of flooring, what we would call claims over the years. Very few of them do we see in Tasmanian flooring products, and when we do see them, it's normally environmental issues and lack of detail. So please be very cognizant of the detail. It's available on the Tas Timber site. There's a brand new set of specs up there. It's backed, and it's the same. We've got information on the Wood Solution site, but it's more detailed on the Tas Timber site. We've got fire indices, the whole box and dice. So please jump on and have a look at that. It's a really good technical resource, which is back. We've got the certification to back it. So one of our strengths is appearance, stability, serviceability, moisture content, and the ability to take finish and coatings. Tasmanian oak is a beautifully consistent material to machine. So its machining's come out top class. We've looked at it against the standards. We've done comparative tests. So that's all available from us here at Seesaw, and we can give you machinability codes on a whole heap of things that we've done on that. But the appearance is just stunning, and that's why it's just taking off. Stability, as I say, it does exactly what you think it would do. If you design to a criteria, and this is why John Goulds used it so extensively, if he orders it, he acclimatises, he uses it, a moisture content, he designs around the design criteria, there is never an issue. We're doing work in serviceability for floorings and linings at the moment under the NIFB process. So we'll have some more information that we'll be able to push forward on that. And we're also looking at moisture content of Tasmanian oak against other products in the built environment, which Portas and all the producers out of Tasmania have been very supportive of. Finish coatings and stains, there isn't an issue. We can make it look whatever you like, but to me, that shot there is just the beautiful naturally oiled finish is just gorgeous. Yeah, applications. This is one of Porta's. I suppose, I don't know how old this is, Lisa. Been out for a few years now, this one.
Be about 2 years, I reckon.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, a beautiful, stunning thing. You know, from everything from a wall lining to the front of a bar to a bed head. And it's just like that bed head in a larger shot just looks magnificent. Again, stained mouldings to pick out on a plywood wall. You know, it's just using that architectural feature. I love this. And if you note, it's not only the bed head. If you have a look at the front of the drawers, it's done with the same material. It's just so versatile in this application, in this series of colours. You know, it's just a magnificent product. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Michael, can I just say that this is what Porta absolutely loves. We look to our our customers, our designers for inspiration, and sometimes they blow us away with where they put the product. We wouldn't even think of it. So yeah, we love applications like these.
Yeah, and they are stunning. They truly are. And shots like this just prove, you know, we've taken a small amount of sustainable, beautiful, but just the feel of that and made it into such an application is just, it's magnificent. I'm feeling a little bit gushy on it now, but it's yeah, again, it doesn't matter what the product is, the applications are so wide. And I think that's one of the key things, as Lisa mentioned to me earlier. It's the applications. It's the fact that, you know, a wall lining's not just a wall lining. It is so versatile. It really is a product that can be used in so many areas, coming with, you know, again, from a sustainable source. It's quality audited both internally and externally, and you're guaranteeing what you're receiving. Yeah, some of these are beautiful. That bowling alley is just magnificent, as is the other ceiling. But if you also notice, you know, there's dowels on chairs, there's wall linings, there's bits and pieces of moulding in there, which have all come from the same source, all out of Tas Oak and other material. So beautiful product.
Yeah, and can I say, Michael, it's probably hard to conceptualise, but there are kilometres of timber used in these types of applications. We completed a project as a JV recently up in Sydney, and there was nearly 4 kilometres of dowel on the ceiling in this restaurant. Incredible.
It is incredible, and it's even an incredible look in this thing. It's really, yeah, it's beautiful. Again, from the dowel house, using a bit of colour on it, some veneer at the background. But my favourite's the simplicity of using this type of material in the product where the towels are hanging. You know, it just, again, the versatility. Okay. Waste from the moulding process, most of it's used for biofuel, Nick. So especially in the Tasmania producers and Porters in Bridgewater, yeah, most of it's going to, well, garden stakes and kindling for that kind of waste, but the actual moulded, the actual sawdust and things is going to biofuels and self-powering most of the sites in Tasmania. So it's a closed loop system, which is really nice. Again, I had to put this in, but the use of these mouldings has dressed up what's essentially ply to make it into a beautiful, stunning wall visual. You know, it's just, it's, yeah. Okay, so again, any commercial questions you have or larger residential, please come back to Lisa and have a look at Porta's. Come back to us on a whole heap of things, but please have a look at the website. We've got the 1300 expert line. Call us. If we can't answer it, I've got a team of architects and engineers sitting around me from the professor who's head of our school all the way through to graduate engineers, structural engineers who can answer questions. We will help you get Tasmanian timber into the built environment. If we can't answer a question immediately, again, we will chase it down for you. So please give us a call on the 1300 number and have a look at the website, because Claire is in charge of the website and it's just been updated. The applications and the species brochures are the latest information. So yes, please have a look at that. Again, the expert support line, 1300 041 766. Please give us a call. If we don't respond immediately, it's probably only because we're on another call, and we will get back to you ASAP. Quotes from suppliers. If you're after something and you fill in one of these quotes and suppliers, we'll put it out to the most relevant people and the people that can help you. That comes through to me as an email or to one of the team, and they'll get it out for you ASAP to the group. So you'll probably get 2 or 3 answers on some of them, unless it's something like some of these Porta mouldings where you're after a specific, and then it'll go through to Lisa. Everything on the Porta moulding website. Please have a look at theirs as well. If you want to know anything about mouldings, have a look at the website for both inspiration, resource, and again, I will say these videos in the YouTube for home, even for home handymen through to builders on how to use these products is brilliant. So please have a look.
To clients, so you can almost as many samples as you like, and we're happy to send them Australia-wide, and we're also sending samples at the moment to New Zealand, to Hong Kong, to Europe. So we're happy to supply samples to anybody that may need them. Yeah,
thanks, Lisa. We do exactly the same out of all the Tasmanian species. So if you want to get, you know, a species of, a sample of Tas oak, myrtle, blackwood, celery-top, we can send them out to you with the relevant brochures and details. We do send out quite a few, and very, very happy to do that, especially for architectural firms that just, want a colour palette, want to see how it feels, the tactile thing of it. So we're very happy to send those out. We haven't sent them out ad nauseum. They're only on request, but please request them on our webpage and we'll get them out to you. So has anyone got any questions for either Lisa and I? And I know we've been popping up questions on the way through, but if there's any others, please pop them up now and we'll try and address them. If you think of anything afterwards, and as Claire said, this will be available online, please come back to us. The contact details will be there and we'll be able to help you out.
So if you just type your questions into the chat area on the right there for Mick and Lisa. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Lisa, on the back of Mick's presentation while people are just thinking about their questions?
Thanks, Claire, and thanks, Michael. That's a brilliant presentation covering off technical aspects of the features and benefits of Tasmanian timber specifically, isn't it? And just some commentary around, whilst we've been going through this really challenging time, the elephant in the room is the COVID virus that we've all been trying to manage. It is about getting back to nature, isn't it? It is about engaging with nature, and what better way to do that than with beautiful Tasmanian timbers.
Well, one of the things that we've been talking a bit is that with more people working from home and spending more time in some places isolated at home, how your home makes you feel has never been more important. And all the research on biophilia says that, having timber in that built environment in your home really does have very strong positive wellness benefits. And mouldings is a really easy way to do that.
Yeah, we have a previous webinar that features David Rowlandson from Planet Arc. And it's probably, those kind of questions David handles and articulated very, very well. So, the amount of timber used in Australia, biophilics. So they're probably worth jumping online and having a look at that as well.
There's a question there from Nick, Mick and Lisa asking whether you're making any blended products which showcase the different species together.
Mm-hmm. And a good suggestion could be, Nick, to maybe think about using perhaps the same moulding or mouldings from the same family of products, say dowels or dressed all round DAR, and using the species intermittently, for example. So certainly from Porta's perspective, we use, a solid lump of timber and we mould something out of that lump of timber. We do a lot of, Tassie Oak specifically, but, think about using other species intermittently with the Tassie Oak could be a way of approaching that.
Yeah, totally agree, Lisa. Most of that, Nick's a design thing, but we have seen it, especially in veneers. A lot of the companies are making up blended veneer sheets. There's a whole heap of work going in. I've just viewed some actually myrtle top chairs, stools with Tas Oak dowel legs. So yeah, there is a lot of mix and match, but it's mainly, as I say, done more at the design end than the producer end.
One thing I would love to add for those who are attending, Tasmanian Timber has just recently put out a survey where you can win one of two $500 gift cards for filling out that survey. But we're really interested in timber use around the country and perceptions around timber and what types of timber, particularly architects and builders, are using. If you do have, it'll take about 10 minutes to fill that out. We would really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions before we finish up? We're at about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of time to stay on the line if anybody does have questions that they want to throw to Mick or Lisa before we close out the session. Thank you, Barbara. That's lovely.
Yeah, and just to reiterate the 1300 number, please give us a call. And if I'm sure Lisa is the same, we will try and get the answer. We're all working together to try and promote Tasmanian timber into the built environment. So yeah, please use that, either the call or the website.
We also do regular case studies and put them up on the Tasmanian Timber website. So we feature a variety of different products, whether they have mouldings or other. And that's all part of the new part of the website where we've got in that inspiration area, which has recently been launched. So we have an image gallery there where you can search by application. So you can actually search by moulding, or you can search by species type and various other filters. And then we also, of course, do an e-newsletter that goes out regularly with that information within it. So we do once a month, so we try not to do too many. But if you'd love to like to subscribe to that, we'd love to have you on the list, and that way we keep you up to date with information about the different products, different species, and so on.
Yep. Also jump onto LinkedIn. Porta's have a stunning Instagram page which has brilliant graphics and that on it. So please have a look for use of these. Oh, beautiful.
Will E-Nitons be marketed as a species or be included in Tas Oak? Are you still with us there, Mick? I can answer that. I think E-Nitons is a separate species at the moment on our website. It's called plantation ash. So a lot of the research that Mick has been working on through the National Institute of Forest Products Innovation has been into the processing of eucalyptus nitons from the plantation estate. That is still under development. So we don't have specific figures on the website yet, because whilst we do have plenty of research, we don't have the volume to put specific facts and figures up on the species page for plantation ash. But we expect to have that within the next 6 months as that species research comes more to conclusion and fruition. So no, it will be a separate species to Tas Oak, but that is coming. We were just talking about Mick Nitons as a species, whether it'll be separate to Tas Oak or included in. So I've just filled them in on the research that's... We've lost your sound there, Mick.
Hello? Sorry, someone must have turned off my PowerPoint somewhere. We lost all the power in the building and the whole lot went down on me, including our server. Okay. Yes and no. Nitons is also known as shining gum, but just be very wary that the material out of Tasmania is not the same as the material out of Victoria. And that's not to denigrate or highlight either. It's a different material, and we're working on all its properties at the moment to get them up on the Tas Timber site. The thinned and pruned material that you'll see out of Tasmania is around the 25 to 28 years. The fibre managed materials around the 16 to 18 years. So it's very young plantation stock, as opposed to the stuff in Victoria, which is another generation older. So different properties. So please do not use the shining gum Nitons criteria you find on Wood Solutions for the Tasmanian product.
Ours will be up as plantation ash.
Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be. As a differentiator, will come up as plantation ash, and we're working on all the timber properties at the moment.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's been a concern we have. So, yeah. So if you use the plantation ash from Tas Timber, it's not a full suite of detail at the moment, but we're working on and getting it up.
Perfect. Are there any other questions from our attendees before we close out the session?
Well, thank you, guys. Really appreciate everyone staying online, because nearly everyone stayed on for the full time. We really appreciate it. Please, again, have a look at the Tas Timber site. Come back to us on the 1300 line. Lisa on the Porta's moulding line and their website. Have a look at those YouTubes. But as I say, the Instagram for both Tas Timber and Porta's has got some stunning inspirational stuff on it. And again, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. And as Mick said, if you do have any follow-up questions following on from today, jump on the website and find that expert helpline or send an email through to the contact address. And Mick will get onto that inquiry and come back to you. And it is actually Mick who answers that line. So you will get the man himself. And then if there's a relevant one there for Porta, we will pass that along. But thank you very much for coming, and we hope to see you at one of our webinars in the future.
Thanks again, guys.
Our next webinar, which is coming up in November, is on veneers. And we'll have Britain Timbers attending that one alongside Mick. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, we'd love to see you for that one also. Lovely. Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
everyone.